say how I feel, cause I know that it's something real. Gonna say how I feel, cause I know that it's something real. Hey, hey. Gonna say how I feel, cause I know that it's something.
Hey everybody, hi, how are you this evening? The sun is out, the wind is blowing, and it is a fine day in the Northwest. Yes, boy, I have gotten, hang on. Sorry. Ugh, I'll have to remember to mount. Tickle in my throat, nothing bad, just should probably have not gone out this morning for my walk with wet hair, but oh well. It's good to see everybody. I was watching Angie and Janice and Nathan. Congrats on your premiere on Tish's Artist Haven. Woohoo! You guys were rocking it. It was very cool. And let's see what else. Oh, it's just been a day of really, I started out the morning knowing I had stuff to get done, responsibilities and things. So I started putting them in reminders in my phone. Siri has an issues with my reminders. She tends to, she doesn't give me a chance to breathe and think about what I'm saying. I'll say, hey Siri, set a reminder to make sure that and if I pause for just a half a breath.
All right, I've added it to your tasks list.
See, she just did it. She just added it. Make sure that is what she added to my tasks list right there. Oh well, that's crazy. But so that was, but I got a bunch of stuff. I just didn't move very far from here on our walk, and that's okay. I'm getting there. Pushing through the weeds of all the things that need to get done. And from 2 waters and all that stuff. So, but I want to say hi to everybody. Deirdre's here. I see that. Okay. Where does it go? There we go. Deirdre's here. And Helen is here. Yay. And Angie. They're saying hi to each other. Nathan. Yep. And Gloria. Hi, Gloria. Finally got a chance to watch some people this afternoon too. I was watching Mina and I watched Brian at the same time. He started, and then Angie and you guys all started on Tish's. So I had literally 2 different screens up. Back and forth, back and forth. Yes. Yay. And Janice is here. Hi, Janice. Oh, okay. That's okay. Nathan, you know what? I'll see if I can get it up because I did not pull anything for anybody, but I will take a look at what you just emailed me because I got wrapped up in, well, that wasn't on my list. Oh, well, it's fine. We'll get through because we're always showing things off on every night. So it's not like I'm not going to be here. Anyway, it sells who? Rockstar, yes. He was a rock star. So today, let's see if I can just go find this real quick. Nathan said he just emailed me. Let's see what he emailed me. There. Ah, there it is. Ooh. Oh, okay. All right. That is going to get, somehow I've got to figure out what to do with there. Okay. Just a second. Let me export to my desktop. Nathan. Oops. Okay, so Nathan just sent me his final piece from tonight's, I take it. Yay. So let's see if I can do this. All right, here you guys go. Let me see if I can do this. You guys always give me challenges, and I love it. All right, I'm going to make a new scene. And there I'm blank. And then I'm going to import an overlay, new image overlay. And give it a second. Oh, am I muted? Hold it. I'm muted. Nope, I'm not muted. Okay. Recents. Back down over here. And there it is. Open that. Come on. There we go. Yay. Make it a little smaller. Okay. And okay, Nathan's image is trying to make it a little smaller, Nathan. Ah, there. So it all fits in. There we go. My shrinky thing. Shrinky dink thing. Anybody remember Shrinky Dinks? Oh my gosh, they were so much fun. There. Cool. I don't have quite the bottom. Oh, okay, I guess I've got the whole thing. Look at that. Okay, we can go bigger because there's the actual piece. All right. There, we'll lock that overlay. Nathan, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. You know, because I had to leave. Look at that. Dude. All right. Let's do. Yes. Woohoo. Maybe a little. Ah, Nathan, that's just gorgeous. Don't you guys think so? Woohoo. Okay, I moved my computer over to a side, my laptop. So what it does is it makes the way I move the mouse from one screen to the next change a little bit. So I'm still getting used to that. So, oh, don't worry about it. Angie, don't worry about that. Nathan just sent me what he did today. I'm really, really glad to say, hey, there's Larry. Hi, Larry. And unwinning tissues. Oh, Helen, you won a prize. Nice. Good job. Excellent. Isn't it stunning? Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to have to go back and watch the end of that because I had to leave before you were this far, and I'm really curious as to how you got to that point because that's just, yeah. And you knocked it, yep, his first Artapalooza, and he knocks it out of the park. So that's awesome. The other photo is under blacklight. Okay, he has another photo, he says. And I have to go down and find it. Ah! There it is. Let's see if I can bring it up. I'll put it up over the top. Did it open? Oh, yeah, what happened? Nope, this one, come up here. There we go. Come on, there we go. There, the other one is under black light. Gee, I didn't see both pictures. Wow, very cool, Nathan. I love it. That is tremendous. Absolutely incredible. it's just so exciting for me to see everybody's work and what you do and how you come along and how things change and just the confidence you build up and how this community literally supports each other in so many ways of just that positive things. And you know, I think one of the things that we can, you know, we can do for ourselves is when we're having a bad day or when we're having a rough time or when it just doesn't seem to be, and we want to say, oh, I'm in, you know, get down on ourselves, or this is just is say, you know, turn it around and think, you know, say, I've got my community behind me. What would they say instead during this? And what would they say? What would Gretchen be saying to me? What would Nathan be saying to me? What would Angie be saying to me about this? What would Jenny say? What kind of things would we be saying to each other? And we wouldn't be saying negative things to each other. So why are we saying negative things to ourselves? I know sometimes it seems it's like second nature, but you know what? It's something that we can train ourselves out of and just, you know, give ourselves a virtual smack it out of the head and say, no, go away. You know, those thoughts are not welcome. Anything not in my best interest, leave now. I learned that from a very powerful shaman. Anything not in my best interest, leave now. And that means even those words that you say to yourself. So, if you're having one of those days, just ground and center, take a deep breath, 3 deep breaths in and let them out. Ground and center, and then say, anything in my best interest, not in my best interest, leave now. Repeat it. Usually 3 times works, but sometimes it takes more. And see what happens. Just try it for a few days. See if it kind of turns things around. Anyway, that's my preach today. That's my preach. I'm going to, where am I? Here am I. Get up here to my comments. There are colors. Oh, Angie chose your colors. That's cool. Black lights were awesome. You bet they were. Yay. Yes. Yeah, it is exactly. You know, Gloria, it's hard to be positive all the time. It says, but you have to force it. But the other thing is, you have to choose it. And I think rather than, for me, I use the word choose rather than force because that seems more powerful to me and seems more positive to me. So I'm going to choose it. I'm going to choose to let go of that thing. Oh, my friend Anne, that is, she says she's a shaman and she has the hat to prove it. She was trained in Nepal and in Peru and by shamans, and yeah, she's pretty amazing. And it's true. It's those things that you can do. We can choose, and we can choose to tell those things to go away and choose to believe that they do. So yeah, it's not always easy, and it doesn't always work all the time. But you know what? I find that rather than, you know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back with this, when I have the attitude of I can choose to anything not in my best interest leave, I find myself making 3 or 4 steps forward and maybe 1 step back. It's taken a while to get to that point. It wasn't overnight. It's been a journey, but whew, yeah, it's like a smile. Makes them wonder what you're up to. Yeah, it smiles like dominoes. It goes everywhere. Yep. But I think, Angie, too, what your mom went through this week, but those are our moments. What you can also fill your mind with is all the moments that she's had that are positive with you over the years, and all the things that are positive, and that, you know, if you get right down to it, a lot of those positive things will outweigh, even if it seems like the negative ones are kind of all bunched up together, because that's when they overwhelm us. The negative ones tend to bunch up together, and then they kind of like sit there as a, like, oh, this is the thing. But you know what? There's that big black dot that you see, but if you look at the paper with the dot, you forget that there's all that other space around it. So what do you see when you focus on the space around the dot? Yeah. Oh. I can do those pretty good. So tonight I have a very cool story, and it's part of a series that a lot of you may know. And but I also have, I just dropped something. Hang on, here I stretch. Stretching. I also, so I think I'll read this story first, and then we'll see what I do with this, one of my things I got last night, to see what happens when I practice with one of the things I got, or on my expedition. So the story today is part of a series of books called the Questionnaires Series. And my grandkids love these series, and I know kids at school loved these series. And this is a fairly new one in the series. And I'm going to show you a little bit about the author and the illustrator. If I can get my, there we go. Screen share. There's keyboard strokes that I could get, and I could code in to change screens between one scene and the next. But that's where it's one of those things I have to, it's one of my negative thoughts about myself, that I won't remember which one is which. I probably would. I just have to get past that thing of that I'm not going to remember it, that I'll get too scattered. Yeah. Okay, so the illustrator is a guy named David Roberts, and it doesn't talk a lot about him. He's done a fair number of books, so let's see, get up here, and it's Ancient Grub, story about caveman being announced as the winner of the Scottish Book Trust Book Bug Picture Book Prize. So he's done the illustrations there. Dirty Birdie Poop, it's coming in March 2020. That's a pretty new one. Oh dear. Bathe the Cat. Oh no. And he has a book coming out that he's doing, We Are Your Children, A History of LGBTQ plus Activism, which is a really cool program that they've been doing. And then this book right here is one of the Questionnaires series, and it is coming to Netflix. Ada Twist, Scientist. Now, you might know who Ada Twist is. Her book is quite amazing. And one of the cool things about these Questionnaires book was when they first came out, it had Ada Twist. I think she was the first one. It was a girl, and changed up the roles and did that. So she's being made into a Netflix series. And this is the one that we're reading today. Erin Slater, Illustrator. And it is a really wonderful part of the Questioneers. So they have had so many books on this series, and Andrea Beaty is the author of them. Let's see, more about me. Here she is. I was raised in Southern Illinois in a town so small I knew everybody and their pets. And they all knew me. I was one of 6 kids and spent our summer days traipsing through the fields and forests hunting for adventure. We often found it, and sometimes it found us. I know that kind of thing. Hey, Louise McKay Art, welcome, welcome. We have someone new to the crowd. Let me say hello. Let's see. Here. Oh, my sound thing. Oh. Go. Yes. That was so. Welcome, Louise. Nice to have you here. I'm welcome to keeping it real for story and art. I'm sorry, and my ever-present learning experience with ecamm. Louise McKay. So, are you in Hawaii? That would be cool. Aloha. It's story time. Yes. Here's Deirdre. So she's done these. She was a big reader, and she just has done some really amazing books. And so she says now she lives in Chicago with her family, and lots of schools, and visits them. She said she worked for a computer software company and helped people get their computer programs running and some technical writing. I didn't know at the time, but tech writing was great training for writing for kids because it taught me to be a fierce self-editor. One of the things I know we've talked a lot about going into writing children's books and going into illustrating children's books. A children's book needs to have a few enough words on a page that it doesn't overwhelm the picture, and the kids, when they look at it, they don't think, oh my God, I can't read that. If it's too much text for a picture on a picture book, that book will sit on the shelf unless the librarian or their parents or somebody picks it up and reads it aloud to them. An older third or fourth or fifth grader might pick it up and read it, but sometimes it's really there's a author out there, and I'll read her book. Thank you, Mr. Falker, by Patricia Polacco. Amazing writer, but boy, her books are on the edge of too much text. But they've been edited down. So one of the things that really is that economy of words to tell the story, and to sometimes skip over details that we as adults like in books, because kids will look at them and just they'll skip over them anyway. That's not, they want to imagine it in their own head, and they can kind of jump ahead. So anyway, that's Andrea Beaty, and she's done her books are Books in Space. Let's see her books. Yeah. Sophia Valdez, Future Prez, Ada Twist, Scientist, Rosie Revere, Engineer. Or maybe that was the first one. Iggy Peck, Architect. Just a whole bunch of Artist Ted, Dr. Ted, Hide and Sheep, When Giants Come to Play. She's just an amazing author. So we're going to get back down over here. There we go. And go back to this. There. So the book, like I said, is called... Oops, it's gone green. You're going to see my mom again, I bet. Because I'm going to hit this. There's Mom. There it is. Aaron Slater, Illustrator, by Andrea Beaty, illustrated by David Roberts. One of the things to note as I'm reading this, you guys can see kind of just briefly, you don't have to pay a lot of attention, just briefly take a look at the font that's used as we go through, and I'll tell you about it when we get to the end. Aaron Slater, Illustrator. Look at that. Look at that. Flowers and everything. Okay, I'm checking in before I hop into the story. Anybody else? Oh yeah, my audio faded. Okay, let's see. That's okay. Should be. Is the audio okay now? I think your sound changed. What happened? Oh, okay. Let's see. Is it still bad? Does it still sound is low? I think, oh, nope, I know what it is. I know what I did. I flipped to the output is, the input is supposed to be this. There. How's that? That should be better. Something jumped. Can you hear me now? I hate that. I'm checking to see. It should be right. The levels look good. Yes. Oh. I wonder if I just do that and go over here. Okay. There. How's that? That should be. It is still very low, okay? I think I fixed it now. Not much better, not much better, not much better. Soft, soft, mainstream novels. Okay. All right, we'll see how this is. What's going on with my sound? Weirdness, weirdness, weirdness. Oh, yay. Okay, yay. Got it. Ha 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 ha. See? You guys are wonderful. I hear like static. That's because I moved this over here. There you go. Oh, I know what I did. There you go. Ta-da! Okay. Static should be gone because I muted the iPad, which is what the book is on. So I'm going to so you know what it did. What happened was the microphone, my lavalier, switched. It jumped when I moved a scene. It switched to the external microphone, which is over here, which I'm not using. I'm using the lavalier. So I could do it. You guys were helpful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Cheers to all of you. Now it's story time. Aaron Slater, Illustrator. At the end of the garden, in the soft fading light, when the day turns to dusk and the dusk into night, the sweet scent of jasmine floats into the air to mix with the music of laughter out there. Aaron D. Slater soaks it all in with his flowery blanket tucked under his chin. Words drift like music, melodious, mild, a sweet summer song for a sweet summer child, who drifts off to sleep as the cottonwoods sway at the end of the garden, at the end of the day. Oh, the hissing is still there. Biddle dee dee. Okay, let's see. What else needs to be? That's muted. Okay. That's muted. That's muted. Move it up there. External microphone. There we go. Dr. Okay. Well, we're going to keep going. Hopefully the hissing is not bad. It was actually there before my mic went low. I thought that was just the hissing in my ear. Okay. I'll figure it out. It's summer, then summer, and summer once more. And soon Aaron D. is a youngster of 4. The jasmine climbs higher, the roses have grown, and Aaron himself has a spot of his own. For seedlings and saplings beside the slate walk, which he illustrates daily with a bucket of chalk. But what he loves most, what makes Aaron's heart sing, is to listen to books in the old garden swing. To write stories, he thinks, is the greatest of things. But first he must read. It's the best place to start, and young Aaron wants to with all of his heart. But the words are just squiggles, and try though he might, even with help, Aaron can't get it right. Why can't I do it? Why is it so hard? He goes back to drawing on slate in his yard. It's school time at last. In his sunflower socks and poppy red jacket with its matching lunchbox, he marches to class with a teacher's bouquet, ready to read by the end of the day. And everybody, just as an aside, as a kindergarten teacher retired for years and years, every kindergartner walks in the first day of school expecting to be able to go home at the end of the day reading. Oh, is that a bubble that's hard to burst? But he doesn't that day, or that month, or that year. And though he makes progress, it's painfully clear he'll never quite get it all like all of his friends. Since he'll never stand out, he decides to blend in. And so here he is at the start of grade 2 in his simple white t-shirt and matching white shoes. He tries to keep up, to blend in and to hide and tangle the feelings he carries inside. At first, it goes well, since his teacher is new and a bit overwhelmed by all the hullabaloo. But things have settled down, and Miss Greer finds her stride, and once she gets rolling, there's no place to hide. "Class," she said, "there's an assignment for you. Write me a story. Write something true." And so Aaron does what young Aaron must do. He works on his story like the rest of grade 2. He writes through the evening. He writes through the night. He writes and he writes till the dawn's early light. Then he drags off to school with his shoes filled with lead and his stomach in knots and a pain in his head. And he waits for his turn with his heart filled with dread. Miss Greer calls his name, and Aaron D. stands and unfolds the sheet in his trembling hands. And he reads. Well, he tries. But it's so hard to start with 33 eyes peering into his heart. So he stares at his shoes and his sunflower socks. Then he closes his eyes, and then young Aaron talks. Once there was a flower. No, wait, I know. Once there was a magical flower which gave all who held it extraordinary power. And so begins the most perfect of tales of an imperfect hero whose courage fails. When the day turns to dusk and the dusk into night, and the moon rises high and the dragons take flight, and who learns after all in the wee morning hours, strength comes from the heart and not magical flowers. The beauty and kindness and loving and art lend courage to all with a welcoming heart. And when the quest ends and the sweet flower dies, the students all gasp and Miss Lila Greer cries. The silence that follows rattles his heart. He tries to say something, but where could he start? He turns in a paper with no words at all, then blinks back a tear and escapes to the hall, where Miss Lila finds him by the slate-colored wall. Time stops for them both, the teacher and boy, his heart filled with anguish, and hers fills with joy at the soul of this artist, courageous and true. She smiles and whispers, "Aaron, thank you." When she leaves, Aaron stands there a very long while. Then slowly, so slowly, he begins to smile. And he feels like he does with those books in the swing, as a new hope inside starts to make his heart sing. He knows he can do the greatest of things in a way that's his own, in a way that's just his. He can stand out and show the whole world who he is. Like the mightiest flames that banish the dark, hope grows in the soul from the tiniest spark. His art makes the difference. His art leads the way and helps him discover what he wants to say. And his reading gets better. Of course, it's still tough, but each day that they work, it's a little less rough. Like all imperfect heroes at the start of a quest, he must do what he can and hope for the best. Now in the hallway, a new garden grows, with jasmine and poppies, a rambling rose, books, art, and music, a dragon or two who soar through a sky of delphinium blue. The art tells a story, melodious, mild, furious, fragrant, wonderful, wild. It's all from the heart, and all of it's true for Aaron, Miss Greer, and the kids of grade 2. It's a place full of beauty for one and for all. The Illustrator's garden at the end of the hall. Now, so this, let me kind of expand on this. A note on the type. This font, the text has been set in dyslexy, a typeface especially designed for people with dyslexia. To learn more, visit dyslexiefont.com. I don't know if you guys know this, and if any of you have dyslexia or have dealt with the different degrees and aspects of it, but if you read on your Kindle, or maybe you don't like to read so much, oftentimes that happens, you can change your font in those books to dyslexia now, I think is standard in Kindles. And in a lot of things, you can change your emails that you get in to have them come in that font. Aaron Douglas Slater is named after Aaron Douglas, an African-American painter, muralist, and graphic artist who lived from 1899 to 1979. He was a key figure in the Harlem Renaissance, an important literary and artistic movement of the 1920s and 30s. Douglas's art was influenced by African art, Art Deco, and jazz, and reflected African American life and struggles. Jazz instruments such as trombones, trumpets, and appear in many of his works. Learning to read is hard for Aaron Slater. His brain has difficulty identifying how speech sounds relate to letters and words. Aaron has dyslexia, just like 15 to 20% of all people. There are many other learning difficulties people may have. For instance, dysgraphia is a difficulty learning to write. Dyscalculia is a form of difficulty doing math. Some people have a difficulty focusing, which is called attention deficit disorder, ADD, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. These learning problems are not about a person's intelligence, creativity, kindness, willingness to work, or their awesomeness. They are just about how the person's brain works. All of these difficulties and many others can be frustrating, but tools and special instruction from educators and others can help. Aaron's dyslexia informs who he is, but it does not define who he is. We each have our own superpowers and struggles. That's what makes us unique, beautiful, strong, and important to the world, just like Aaron. And the illustrator's note says, as someone who struggled with reading and spelling and still does, I quickly learned how to read and tell stories with pictures. A picture can play with our imagination, make us feel the heat of a glowing sun on a cold winter's day, or the feel of the wind billowing through leaves when all is quiet and still. We can share in someone's sadness or their joy through pictures. Telling stories with Aaron through drawings has made this book very special for me. I hope you enjoy it. I once had a student in my very first year teaching, actually, and let me get back over here where I can. So this was my first year teaching ever. I was teaching third grade. I got hired basically 3 days before school started. So school in Washington State usually starts the day after Labor Day. But in the district that I taught in, it started 2 days after Labor Day because the district that I taught in was also the district that the 3 or 4 of the state penitentiaries that Monroe State Prison was in, and also the Evergreen State Fair was in that town. So what would happen would be they tried to start right after Labor Day, but so many kids in the high school had gotten jobs at the Evergreen State Fair, or there had been oftentimes moves within different community and stuff, so that the schools, we didn't have any. So what they did was they gave us an extra day. I got hired on Friday afternoon before Labor Day, literally, and had to be ready to open a classroom on that next Monday. One of my students that year I taught third grade, was a boy who could, he could do all, he could write out, he could speak his spelling words with no problem. But if he tried to write them, he would skip letters. And when he tried to write sentences or stories, he would skip part, but he could tell you what he thought it said, but he would skip big groups of words. He had a form of, oops, oh, Jeannie, no, sorry, it's supposed to be on. He had a form of that dysgraphia, where he missed sections of things and it didn't fit together. What we did was we gave him a typewriter and it completely transformed what he could do. We didn't have computers yet, okay? Didn't have computers. I had just started to get the first Commodore PETs, which were a computer. This was back in 1983, 84. And so what we did was we gave him a typewriter. He could type out things and he didn't miss anything. But if you gave him a pencil and a piece of paper or a pen, he skipped letters all the time. And he skipped sections of it. It took and at that time, back in that time in the mid-'80s, they did not have clear diagnoses on dysgraphia and on dyslexia, and there weren't a lot of things there for that, and there wasn't support yet. ADHD, ADD wasn't even in the realm of things that they hadn't even diagnosed, given a name to Tourette's yet. So there were several things that were going on, but so it was really interesting to see how we started him on a typewriter in our classroom, and it changed everything. And then what we had to do to fight to get him to be able to have a keyboard of some kind over the things. So it was interesting. It was something I became very aware of really early in my teaching career. As a first-year teacher, and this was my first. Oh my gosh, I got to figure out how to fix this for this kid, and it worked. He went on to graduate in mechanical engineering from a college here in Washington State, and graduated at the top of his class, and went into I think he had a double degree in mechanical and civil engineering. Pretty amazing. Amazing. So, yeah, honors with distinction. Oh, good. Some about people reading in their head. When I did my master's program in educational technology, I had to read really just blindingly boring doctoral dissertations and articles and papers that had been written on. And this was in the late 90s. So the technology papers were it was just gruesomely bad and boring. And I would fall asleep reading them like that. So the only way that I could get through all of that was I had a dictaphone. Remember, doctors always had dictaphone type things? So I had one, and I got one of those, and I would read aloud I would read aloud and tape it. And so I would read aloud this boring doctoral dissertation or this boring technical paper from some and some of them were just, they were mind-numbing. And so I would read them aloud into it to do it, and then I would listen to it again as I was reading it, because audiobooks are something I could do as I was reading it. And that's how I got through my master's with a 4.0. Otherwise, it would have been really awful. But I found that these kind of books are so are just something that really, I don't know, I love how they, not only the fact that it's done in rhyme, but she goes to the attention, the detail of using a font that they did like that, but also it's so clear and true about that kind of thoughts for a child and what they go through and stuff. And it was pretty, I love it. I hope you guys liked it. So from there, we have, see if I can show you this. I went through that crazy shopping thing, and I got all that stuff. Overhead camera. Okay. Oh, that's it. This wasn't the one I was going to do. There you go. So one of the things that I got was this Gauche set. Opaque Watercolor. Oh. And I haven't even opened, I'm just opening it. So I thought I would find out what the big deal is with this stuff. So I'm going to see what it does. As you know, I'm not, well, I'm in the experimenter. That's me. We'll see if it's going to work. I'm not going to start with one of my good brushes. Got new brushes too, so I think I'm going to go with one of my ones like this. I got my little thing here for some water. And what else I have, I'll switch to the other view so you guys can see. I wonder if I can have that double view. Oh, maybe I can do that. Let's see. Let me see if I can do this for you guys. The double view. There's that one. And then I'll do this one. Will be this one. Yay. Okay. So this is one I started one time when this is one of my photographs, and I'm it's on a kind of paper that is it's the Canon matte photo paper, which is real thick and makes it easy to paint on. It was one of my test prints, so I thought I'd use it. I used it for some kind of other little thing I was playing with, so I thought I'd use it again to see what I get here with these guys. And we'll see what this stuff does. Well, let's move this up here where you can see what I'm doing. And there we go. So I got water, and I got this guy, and we got these guys. Now let's see. So the daffodils are in bloom, but we have these cool kind of nasturtium. They're like daffodils. Oh, good. Okay, this is a set by AA, Art Advantage, Gauche Opaque Watercolor 12 color paint set. And this is the one I told you, it was $10 for this whole thing, and then it was 25% off because this store is going out of business. So I always want to have one of the cool pokey things with the top. Opens it. So I'll put a little bit of color there, close it all up so I don't make such. I'm going to try, oh, what did I do with that? Where did I put that? Ooh. And I also got this thing too. This is a Pitt artist pen that is an opaque white. I wonder if I put it on stuff, if it'll blend at all with this. What do you think? Will it? I'm going to try. So this I'm going to try with this pen first. There. Take some of this, see if I can blend it out. It says it's opaque. Oh, cool. So it goes on really nicely. I don't know what it's supposed to act like because I've never used Gouache before. Add water on it and you can do more stuff. You guys are probably in the chat talking like, well, it does this and it does that. All of you who know more what it's supposed to do. I research books. I just grab art materials and just play with them. That's the way I research art materials. Only if it says that it's toxic do I actually read directions. And it does blend up kind of nicely. So that's if you add a bit of water to it. So let's try another color. I have that white too, and see what happens if I don't do much with it. Just put a little bit of yellow here. I like yellow and I like green. Everybody always, not everybody, but a lot of people talk about how they have difficulty with greens. I like green. It's one of my favorite colors. What can we do? Let's see if we can go on the inside. Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. So it stays wet long enough that you can blend. So you can blend colors kind of nicely. Makes it look more like our daffodil colors. Very cool. Okay, that's kind of fun. The red was kind of a weird, not real red. I wonder if the red, see, it's kind of a orange red. Not a red like, doesn't have a lot of blue in it. Doesn't have any blue in it, as a matter of fact. But it doesn't feel like a true red either. Feels more like an orange red. What color is it said? Vermilion. Whatever, vermilion. What is a vermilion? Somebody want to tell me what a vermilion is? Is that kind of a flower? And a quinacridone. Okay. You guys are, kudos to you to always saying quinacridone this and quinacridone that, but what the heck is a quinacridone? Seriously? Don't put that in front of a kindergartner. I can imagine they're trying to figure that one out. Okay. So this stuff is pretty cool, I can see, because it does do the opaque bit pretty well. Like in this red, goes really red. The yellow was not as much. Let's see, what's that? And back in the oh, yes. Well, Angie says it reminds her of what her mom did back in the 70s. Her mom would sit around coloring black and white photos with colorizing kind of paint. That was one of my jobs in college. I worked for a photographer in the University of Washington, in the U District, a gentleman by the name of George August. A little bit crazy. And my job was to spot his photographs. So the photographs, before they were he would take photographs and print them and do all that. And then before they were delivered, they had to be spotted. So I would take a brush and so you guys know that like this paintbrush is a size, what is this? I think this is like a size 4, okay? My paintbrushes that I used were either double zeros or triple zeros. They had hardly any things, and I had to spot with color stains where there would be dust spots from, and use a magnifying glass and a loop and paint those spots. Yeah, that was crazy. Let's go over here. Oh, you can't see over there. Can you guys see? Oh yeah, you can see on both of them. And, oh, there, so you can see a little bit more this way. doing there. Oh, there you can see the colors a little better. Here you go. So here's the blue. What color blue is this? This one is cerulean blue. Okay, that's just the straight out with no water. It's really opaque. But let's add a bit and take some and see how we can. But you can also spread it out pretty well. Yeah. So the colors are cool. So this will be a fun thing. I don't know. I mean, this is not how I would normally paint this, a picture like this, but I don't normally paint my photographs. But this is just one. I figured it's a good way to use my test prints. Otherwise, I would just tear them up. Yes, I've done that. Haven't I? I think Angie and Gloria, you watched that one early on when I decided I needed to get rid of stuff. I think it was shortly after my knee surgery, and I went through that bunch of photographs and I started tearing them in half when they weren't any good, and you guys were screaming, no! But it's just like you guys scraping paintings, okay? I watch you guys scrape paintings and go, wow! And then this is what so. Okay. So that's this art medium that I got, Gauche. Do I like it better than I like watercolor? I think it's completely different. I don't think you can even compare them. They're not, I mean, they don't even make the same kind of effect. Yes, it dries, but then you can go back over it and re-wet it, and it'll re-wet, and then you can mix it with other colors and get other stuff. There you can go that, see? And kind of cause all kinds of damage. So maybe that's kind of cool. Then it's not opaque anymore, it's very transparent. Maybe it can maybe build up. I don't know. I have to see what I would use it on. But for now, for painting, for just kind of relaxing and goofing around with it, it's kind of fun to do. Kind of fun to goof. I still haven't broken into the unicorn spit. Haven't broken into the unicorn spit. And I'm not going to tonight because it is past your bedtime. Oh, you guys. Okay, let me go back up here. Where am I? There we go. Ah, take you back up to me. And here. So, hey, Tamara's here. Hi. Where did I go? There I am. There she is. Hi, Julie. Ooh. Gouache. Gouache. There's no R in it. Tamara, you say it's gouache? There's no R. Gouache. They dry extremely matte. Work with loves. Back into how, okay. Color applications such as robust outdoor paints, inkjet printer ink, tattoo inks, artist watercolor paints, and as pigments, the quinacridones are insoluble. Oh! Yay, Julie! See, I knew if I threw the question out there, somebody would know. Julie is a good researcher. She would have made a good librarian. Hey, Crunchberry, how you doing, Angie? Oh my gosh, Auntie Emery. I did. You snuck in here while I had my head buried in my photograph that I was messing around with painting. Yeah, so this kind of paper, like I said, is photo paper. It's cotton. It's the matte paper, and it's the stuff they send me for free when I order my ink when I'm printing, because the ink for my big printer is expensive. So they're very kind and send me free ink, free paper, oftentimes, which is nice. But it's also fun. I used it for Suminagashi with the kids at one of the STEAM art fairs, or the STREAM nights. But anyway, so you guys, thank you so much for all this. Vermilion is both brilliant red or scarlet. See, you guys, I know color theory really well. My mother had, I think I've told you this, had perfect color and like photographic color memory. And my first toy was a color wheel that I remember playing with. And she was a weaver and and she sewed all her clothes. So she just color was her thing. And but it just, the little bits and pieces of it, my sisters are all kind of have that. I know the stuff that goes with coloring photographs, or with the inks for my printer, and what I need, and how colors, I know exactly what colors will look like converted to black and white, because I see in black and white when I look at something. I can make my brain go, oh, what's that going to look like? And I can tell what it's going to, whether it'll work as a black and white picture or not before I even take it. But all those names, I'm just like, I taught kindergarten, you guys. Yeah, you don't argue whether it's turquoise or teal. You just say, it's blue-green. And it works. It works for us. All right, you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for being here tonight. And they all dried out, so I threw them out and found them. You can really, oh, yay. I could do that. I could do that and encaustic on it. I could do all kinds of different things. I think this piece right here, this is my take it through the torture of the different kinds of things that I have to put on it. What will happen? Oh, okay. You guys have to see that real quick. Then I'll let you go, promise. You're going to like this. One thing I said I wasn't going to open, didn't use. But it says it's non-toxic. Okay. The Unicorn Spit in Purple Hill Majesty. Look at that. Okay, where's a paintbrush? Where's a paintbrush? I have no idea how this is going to work with paintbrush. So I'm going to take, I'll use this one. This was an old eyeliner paintbrush. That's ought to work. Let's see what happens with, okay. Unicorn Spit is cool. It's like a combination between an ink and a paint. Okay. Could be the color that I like, because it's purple. And you can kind of get cool shading and kind of lines with it by building it up a little bit, I think. And I think I like the way it moves. No wonder Okay. But you know what? A little bit goes a long, long way. So that little bottle that I got for $5, because it had been opened and used, and it's almost full, is going to last me a really long time. Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's unicorn spit for you. What a name. What were they thinking when they sat around and came up with that name? What were they eating? If unicorns could spit, what would it look like? Oh. Okay, I'm done. Done. Unicorn spit, gel stain and glaze. Easy to use, multi-surface, non-toxic. But you know what, guys? It's a stain, and I just got it on my finger, and it has an odor, which, by the way, doesn't take long for it to waft its way into your head. That's not pleasant. Okay, paintbrushes in the water, and see what somebody who knows better has told me. All right, that's it. Vermilion, got it all. Angie. Lurking. You can scrape into it. Okay. But that's how it said that? Only in Australia. You guys. Oh, Tamara. Oh, gosh. Go and wash. Oh my gosh. Gouache. Oh my gosh. I was not. Maureen Pritchard said it is the way to say. Oh, you're. That's funny. Oh my gosh. You know, and a lot of people will try to say that the state of Washington is Washington. I'm like, no, there's no R in it. It's Washington. Washington. Oh, Julie comes through with the copy and paste. Is it ink? It's a glaze. Unicorn spit. It's a glaze. Gel stain and glaze. But yeah, it's usable. But I would use it in a better ventilated spot than I have, because yeah, it's kind of, I can feel it right there. Wow, the paint is wet is fun. You know, hairspray will take marker, permanent marker, off of student desks or off the walls or out of rugs. Yeah, just so you know. Little kid writes on the wall in permanent marker or on the floor. You can hairspray. You can use cheap shaving cream, or you can try even a regular eraser. All those things work. Little teacher tip. There we go. So, but not off. Tired. I think she fell asleep. Never used unicorn spit. Too expensive. That's why, you know what, Julie, that's why I got it at this store, because it had it on a whole table of stuff that they had used during demonstrations and stuff. So they'd been opened or else they'd been returned. And so the bottle was open. So the bottle normally is like $12 for this little 4-ounce thing. So it still has it full up to above the label right here, but I got it for $5. So that's why I use it. But it goes a really long way, but it also stinks after a bit. So who knows? You guys, again, thank you so much for helping me through tonight with my sound issues, and for sticking with me while I'm trying out this different kind of painting medium, and for creating a whole international controversy over how we say gouache or gouache or gosh. Golly gee willikers. Anyway, but most of all, thank you for listening to Aaron Slater, Illustrator, and loving it as much as I do, and for just coming into my home each night and for inviting me into yours. I appreciate each and every one of you and your time and what you do to make each other smile. And remember, anything not in your best interest is not welcome around you, and just make that statement. And until next time, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you. It's everywhere you see. And most of all, it's inside of you. So don't let anything tell you different, even if that anything or anyone is yourself, because you're all special. Until next time, you guys, take care. Goodbye.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Feeling alright, we won't go home, we would just stay here downtown. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards, I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous. We could be famous. You blow my mind, looking like a model, better
It's also a
than
good
usual.
Halloween hair.
Yeah, you don't even try, not average or typical. I put you on a pedestal. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards, I just need you by my side.